Hey, it's Four with Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
sex. Today's topic I'm pretty excited about because your most recent book that you've launched is called Basic Training, The Basics of Game and Dating Etiquette. And I am absolutely 1000% sure that this is my favorite book that you've created yet. I love this book. When it's probably no secret that I do like our book editing. And when I was reading it and editing it and kind of putting the pictures in, it just was blowing me away with every page.
Right.
It's so many usable tactics and just foundational things that I think that a lot of people don't know if they don't know. So where did this book come about?
It came about, well, from what, let me think. I started being at 14, discovering girls, and the influence of my dad. But what I noticed was like a couple of the tweets that I put out there, they're just really like the one that caught my eye was, it was a picture and the guy is next to the road and the girl is in on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you always kind of protect the girl from traffic, so you always walk between her and traffic when you're on the sidewalk.
Uh-huh. Or in parking lots.
Yeah, you always kind of like, you're the barrier.
Yeah.
And the number of people that were like, I did not know that.
Right.
And then the other half was like, well, there's a FAR group that goes, doesn't everyone know that?
Yeah.
And I knew that people don't know that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I see it all the time.
Exactly.
When you know certain things, you're like, and you see somebody not doing it, it catches your eye. So I knew that it wasn't common knowledge, even though it should be.
It definitely, yeah.
It's funny because like even some guys are like, yeah, when I'm with a girl and I put her on the inside, she'll look at me. She knows what's going on.
Right.
Savvy girls know. And I started thinking about all the stuff that I had to learn the hard way.
Right.
That I would go, God, I wish I had known.
I wish somebody would have just taught me that.
Yeah. And I felt like, my dad being in the military and me being in the military, so some of these things, and being in a fraternity and being in college and being in school, and being in the U.S.
And discovering weightlifting early.
Discovering weightlifting at 14, and I've always been in the gym business. So even business stuff, I picked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And there was still stuff that I didn't know.
Sure.
And kind of like, would be like, man, I wish somebody had told me to do that.
Yeah.
The classic and what I always say, I remember, and it has a big impact, is like, to get reservations for dinner.
Yeah.
Everybody, you can go to Open Table. Everybody that knows to do that goes, well, yeah, of course you get reservations. But when you're a young guy, you don't know. And you should, if you're going out to dinner, you should always call ahead. And whether they, see if they take reservations. Yeah. Because it just makes your life easier.
It makes everything easier to float in. Imagine how miserable a date is if you go in, they're like, well, put your name in, and it says 45-minute wait.
Yeah, they hand you one of those dorky beepers.
Oh my gosh. And then you and your new date are just standing around looking at each other, trying to make small talk. This is what guys do.
Yeah, these are not, and so you're in Texas, and you're at Applebee's, and you're standing outside sweating your ass off. And that's the reality of it, as opposed to, you call for a reservation, you pull up, hand your car off to valet, you walk in, they have your table ready. You go, because dating is momentum.
It is.
And a lot of the skills and basic training and game and etiquette is simply keeping the momentum going.
Yeah. You can close more girls if everything's going smoothly.
Yeah, it really does. It kind of smooths things out. And even just like hygiene and taking care of yourself, how to dress.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, one thing that's good about being in the military is I knew how to dress because my dad passed it on to me.
Right.
And he was pretty sharp about what he wore being in the business world. But I still learned even more in the military.
Oh, yeah.
And then
they're very particular.
Yeah, and then being in fitness, it's kind of casual, but I would always like iron my polo shirt, iron my shorts. And these are normal things.
Well, and in the fitness business, you also understand that physique, that the way you look and the way you present yourself goes a long way.
So these are all things that I know.
Yeah.
And other guys I know, but not everyone does. And especially when you're a young guy. And young can be like 30.
Sure.
35. If you've just gotten out of school or you've been working your ass off.
Yeah.
And didn't have any money. And none of this is all expensive or anything. Don't get me wrong.
No.
These are very basic skills that anyone should have at any income point.
Truly.
Just sometimes guys are like, I never had a dress shirt.
Sure.
Well, now you do. This is how you put it together.
But literally, you can get a dress shirt from Walmart or Target.
Yeah.
Or from,
Yeah. And we show you how to take a cheap suit and make it look like a great suit.
Seriously.
There's all kinds of tricks to the trade of looking good and feeling good. And it all works together. And it really is the basics because it helps cover all the bottom line stuff that you should know as a guy.
Yeah.
And that makes your life easier. And it makes everything just go smoother.
It's true.
There's so many things that guys don't know that kind of bite them in the butt. Even like when it comes to hygiene, they may not be, because you talk to girls, how was the date? It was great. The guy was sharp. He was like 6'3", well-dressed, good-looking, and his breath was terrible.
Right.
And and guys that know, it's one of those things you're always conscious of. You know what I mean? Whether that comes from sales. No one has ever bought anything from a salesman with bad breath. And if he's not, sometimes that's the problem.
Right.
If a guy's not selling something, his manager realizes that's the problem. And it's little stuff like that, but moves. Small things have big impact.
Well, attraction is sales.
Yeah, it really is. And I've been in sales a lot too. And so all of what would you say, this conglomeration of knowledge, kind of none of it worth that much on its own, but you bring it together and it works. It puts you together.
You included 50 points in
this. Yeah, there's 50 things in there, and it covers everything from how to dress, how to set up a date, how to ask her out, all kinds of things, all the basics.
Yeah.
The guys go, how the fuck am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
Even down to like how you park, when you go to a restaurant. I mean, all
Seriously.
of it, all this shit matters so you don't like end up driving around. And look like you don't. It smooths things out and you look good.
You look good. You feel better. Everybody's more confident when they're not running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock.
A lot of this is just not to leave you like standing around scratching your head.
Yeah.
Or, having to sort something out in the middle of a date. Because when you're on a date, your job is to focus in on the girl and run your game and seduce her. And that's all you should be doing. Everything else should be running in the background.
It's true.
And so we show you how to do that.
It's such a good book.
So that's, just like we said, it's basic training. These are the basics if you want to be a player, a playboy, a sharp husband, a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or just a guy about town that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It'll smooth things out.
It's that good.
Yeah.
It really is. The basics of game and etiquette.
And we if you want it, you can. The link's below.
The links are going to be.
We'll send it, and it's instant download. Instantly, you can read it and start working your way through it.
Yeah.
One guy said he was on page 11, and he said he felt like he had already gotten his money's worth.
I love it.
That's what I like. That's what I'm gunning for. I want you to not go very deep and go, yeah, that was completely worth it. I can use this.
Right.
And it's all usable.
It is all usable.
All right.
We can also find them from your website, FortWorthPlayboy.com.
FortWorthPlayboy.com. If you go to products on the right-hand side and just drop down, it'll be in there.
Yeah.
And we'll have a link below this video.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at it on Twitter, you're listening at it on Twitter, I'm sure the link is above or below this.
Yeah.
All right. But we want you guys to win. We want you guys to have women that you find attractive.
Yeah.
And have sex with them.
Because all of this is pointless if you're not having sex.
Exactly. I mean, but we want you to look good, feel good, and then everything else will fall into place.
It does. We want you to win. Bye.